curve pattern. I'm going to end right at that recession. Do you guys do more low fades, high fades, medium fades?
Everything
All over? Okay. South side fades. You guys do south side fades?
What's the south side?
Not really a whole bunch. In the shop more so than in here.
Oh, really?
But not a whole bunch. That's more like Texas.
I was in Texas yesterday, last night, and I was teaching a class. I went into kind of an urban barber shop, and the dude was leaving the south side fade. I was like, that's sweet. So, first things first, we want to see where his hair wants to lay. Consultation's key, as we all know. Do you want your hair to kind of lay back, or do you want it back to the side?
Kind of back into the side.
Okay.
Well, not really. So like I kind of almost pomp it up, but I like bring it over instead of all the way back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like a hybrid between a comb over and a pomp.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna take a vertical section. No wider than the width of my shears. And the reason why I don't take wide sections, if you think about it, if you pull a bunch of hair up, so say I take a section this way, I pull it all up and cut it. What happens if you cross check it vertically? What does it look like? Concave. So then when someone else cuts your hair or their hair right after you, they're gonna be like, bro, he messed you up. Even though it looks really good, whenever you style it, when it's not styled, that's where you're gonna see those wave lines. So I use my 6-inch talons. It's my wet cutting shear. The reason why I use them is they're ergonomical. I can flip them around, I can do everything I need to do, and they're lightweight. So I don't have to put my thumb in it, I can cut.
What I tell y'all when I was trying to hold my shears like this?
Yeah, he was funny. They think I was like, no, don't hold him like that.
This is damn near stabbing clients with them.
No.
So I'm gonna cut 90 degrees from the floor, not the head shape. And the reason why is I want to keep a nice, strong, square silhouette.
Should have grabbed that for you. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
I wasn't quick enough.
I'm not awake yet. So I'm gonna start making a triangular or an angle, just to kind of conserve the length in the front. Okay, so that's my profile guide. Everything else I'm going to connect horizontally from side to side, and what that does is it builds weight in the haircut. If you cut horizontally across the head, you're creating weight. If you're cutting vertical, you're creating texture. So if I pull up the hair here, cut there, what's this going to leave? A weight line. If I take it like this, yes. Exact same thing on the top.
So much smarter too, if you think about it. Because you'll never lose your guy.
Nope, never.
You're always gonna have the guy.
So did you already learn something?
I've been cutting hair since I'm like 14, so I've learned on my own,
Cool.
like YouTube also, but I want to learn more like on like longer hair, because I don't really like to style, but I want to learn.
You don't like the style?
I love it. That's my favorite part
He
of the
likes-
service.
Yeah,
Like, I'm more like fades.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I want to learn and how to do it, you know. 'Cause that's more money, you know.
And I like shear work and styling. That's like my two favorite things to do. It's like the most relaxing thing.
Yeah. So do you cut this haircut with all clippers?
No, I didn't cut his top. I just cut the sides, and then I
Okay.
did some clip rubber cut. Still want to leave his top.
Yeah, the top hasn't been cut in quite a while. Months, actually.
So people with super fine hair, when they leave their top long, it kind of looks stringy because I have super fine hair. So you want it to all be the same length. That way it looks thick and full. And so that's why we're kind of taking a little bit off.
Oh yeah, you can do whatever you want, man. If you want to take more off or whatever, it's not a big deal.
Well, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do a south side fade.
Okay.
Never done one. I'll try it.
Bring out the color in your eyes.
Run it out.
Okay, so we're done. We created everything at a square shape from this point over. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the top, this quadrant right here, and cut it at a 45 to blend.
Close your eyes. Maybe please.
So I start every haircut the same, and I do every haircut the same. I do that center quadrant first, connect the sides, and then the back.
So if you're gonna do a comb over and you're not gonna do that vertical, you just do it straight across, like straight across the head?
I'm gonna do this vertical.
No, I'm saying, yeah, like when you started it, how you parted the hair like this?
Like the vertical section?
Yeah.
I'm always gonna start that, 'cause that's gonna be my guide.
Yeah.
So that way I don't
Even
lose
on
it.
comb overs, like
Mhm.
on comb overs, you.
Yep.
Okay.
Because this piece right here, my first cut, is gonna be my length for the whole haircut. This is gonna be the length for the sides. This is gonna be the length for the back. And this is gonna be the length for the front. Whether I over direct and save length up here by a finger angle, this is determining how the whole haircut's gonna be as this first initial cut. So I cut 45 degrees from the floor. That's where my guide was before. I'm gonna cut up to it. Guide. So I'm just pulling that previous section back and using that as a reference point. What kind of tools do you guys use here?
Masters, Legends, and BGCRs here, right? BGRC,
The
yeah.
cordless ones or the corded ones?
Corded. Everything that we get here is corded. If we get cordless, it's on our own. For now, anyway.
And then edgers, pretty much
Yeah.
everyone got the, you have to go to FX and got slims.
We get some real nice Oster shears. Real nice.
What's Oster even doing in the hair world now?
Nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of point cut all this out.
Old school. It's old school. It's history.
So all those corners right there, I'm just gonna kind of connect. Just soften it all out.
Now, would you prefer to do that with your shears rather than your thinning shears or blending shears?
Absolutely, because I want to have that strong structure. So anytime I take a blending shear and a texturizing shear, I'm taking more weight out, and I just want to add a little bit of movement in the ends. I want to take away the lines.
Right.
So whenever I style it, or if he wears it out unstyled, you ever send a haircut out the door and you see lines on top of the head?
Every day.
Yeah, because you're taking too wide of sections and you're not refining it.
Okay. All right.
So if you go back through and just add those little point cuts, they'll take those lines away.
Okay.
I like his honesty. Every day.
That's what it's all about, dude.
I'm
That's
new,
why I'm
bro.
here.
I got a lot of work to do yet.
No, man, it's not. It still happens to me.
I feel like any professional should never stop learning.
You know, especially like tomorrow, I'm working a little bit extra, so I'm gonna be slammed. So I mean, there'll be 2 or 3 guys that walk out with some lines. It's just how it goes.
No cap.
Mine's on the top of the head. If I'm fading it, there's not gonna be any lines, but. So I'm gonna pull everything out vertically. So like I said, if you guys look right here, I'll spin you around. So this is the first cut I made, right? So I pull it out vertically. My hand's on the occipital bone, 90 degrees. This is the head shape, his natural way his hair wants to lay. So I'm gonna cut vertically all the way down to connect that. I'm gonna pull another section. You guys watching in the mirror too.
I think he's watching you hold your shears out.
Degrees.
What he's essentially doing is he's treating that shear like it's a swivel.
Actually, held a swivel for the first time yesterday.
Right? Freak you out?
Yeah. Thought I was gonna cut my finger off. I have really bad ADD, so the more moving parts that I have, the more stuff's gonna get cut off.
So this is a shear, he's using a 6-inch, this is a 6.5 inch. But what he's doing is he's taking his thumb and he's rotating like this and cutting this way. The reason for that is to allow him to not have to cut like this. Okay? So remember when we talk about bodies, we don't want to hurt our bodies. He keeps everything within inside of a box. If you watch him when he cuts hair, it's this box. He's not up and over or anything like that. So he uses this technique just to simply flip right over and come down that way.
Yeah, so I just let gravity take over. Gravity's everything.
Like this, right?
No, here.
So you hold them like this, you just flip it over. So you're actually holding it on your shear like this. Drop it down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not rotating anything. He's just holding the shear like that and then just flipping his hand straight down.
Like how you usually flip your
Okay.
shear.
So the thing of it is
Okay.
when you guys are learning how to use these shears, the proper way to hold the shear is between the first and second knuckle, right? But then you bring it back this way. You know why you do that? If I leave it like this and I go like this, look how my hand turns red. I'm cutting all the circulation off. Whereas if I go like this, now I give better circulation, but then I have to open up my wrist to cut. So it's all about keeping all of this flowing. See how that stays light? So if you're in this position, you can just then flip straight over, but it has to be a deal where you're not used to shoving your thumb through, because your thumb's not supposed to go through, right? Thumb's supposed to sit right on the edge. So if you train yourself to work this side of the shear that way, then you can easily flip over and work that side of the shear. Yeah, it's all practice.
Yeah, so I was trained Paul Mitchell, so totally different. So they're all about like palm to palm. So they want me to cut the side of the head like this, all the way around, and then come up like this. Well, that's gonna tear up your shoulders and your back 2 years in. So if I just come in, just change up how I'm holding my shears, I can cut like this. Everything's super nice and relaxed. Or I can come in and cut like this, and I'm never overworking myself. Especially when you're doing 10, 15 haircuts a day in a barbershop. Too hard part it?
I was kind of going away from it, but
Cool.
yeah, you can put a
Nope.
put part in it.
We're good.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause you see how it's kind of growing out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you like doing hard parts or no?
This is just some sea salt spray. I don't have my razor with me, and so some dude wanted me to use a razor the other day at a barber school, and I was looking at it and I was like, no.
Do you want a razor? What do you
No.
use?
I have a super lightweight Irving
Okay.
razor, or I have a Ruger razor.
Okay.
So it's just.
So you like the lightweight razors versus a heavy?
I like the lightweight razors where the razor only sticks out. I mean, you can just barely see the end of it.
Okay.
Like this razor, you put it in, it was, I mean, it was probably that far out, man. It was like half the blade was out. You like, cut your face off. So now, the hair's washed, cut the top, and style the hair, because now it's going to build into the shape I created. So if we recap, how you guys can start every haircut is that vertical section. You're never gonna, one, lose your guide, and two, you can determine the length by this first initial cut. So you comb it into its place it wants to fall, its natural fall. See where you can cut it by where it sticks up, and then you just determine it all from there. You connect side to side, you create the weight, and you go back through at the very end after it's blow dried and just add some vertical texture, and I'll show you guys that too. Do you have your kit on you, the non-carbon VT1s? I know it's kind of a weird way to put it, but I don't know what the...
Oh, the 13T?
Yeah.
You know what? I gotta go outside. I got one. I just picked up last night. It's sitting in the.
So like when you're coming
Sitting
over
in the
to like
console.
where it needs to be, that's when you part it in the middle.
Yeah, so after it's already combed over, I kind of look at it, get this sectioned off where where the swirl wants to lay. It's like this part came down right here, and then this part went up right there. And then I take my vertical section, cut, and then just connect from the back to the front.
Okay.
With no sections wider than the width of my shear.
Hey, before I run outside and get past, I see him playing around back here. So he's holding the shear like this, and he's cutting like he's doing shear like this. He's gonna shear cut like this, right? This is your stationary blade. It's never gonna move, right? If you place this blade on that finger, when you open and close, a lot of times you're gonna nick yourself, right?
I don't do 13T, BT3.
BT3?
BT3.
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay.
The thing of it is part of the team he's on, Stephanie Martinez, is another educator that I've worked with about 6 or 7 times, and she does a lot of work with Fern the barber. And they were on stage, and Fern took his knuckle off one day. Literally, his knuckle was hanging off the edge of his blade because he was busy talking on stage, was cutting, wasn't paying attention to what he was doing, and boom, off went the knuckle. So if you follow Fern the barber on Instagram, everything he posts will say #Knuckle Cutters Club. He started it that day. But they literally sat around and talked about it for like 45 minutes after the fact about how, why did that happen? Well, obviously he got lazy and didn't pay attention. But what can they do to change that? So what they do is they put that stationary blade on this finger. Now something I've noticed in addition to that is look at my wrist. See how my wrist is cocked? If I roll my wrist down and take that blade up at 45 and come down, I'll never touch it. So you're taught not to go past the first knuckle, right? If you get busy, do you always stay inside your first knuckle? Or does life take over and things happen and you're doing on a roll, right? If I flatten out that wrist, that then automatically rotates my
Start
blade,
bringing it up.
it's going to allow it to move.
Sorry for
Okay? So once again,
Is it all dry?
this to me doesn't feel comfortable. This to me does. Okay, and I had somebody ask me yesterday, they're going to change that length. Well, your bottom blade is going to be up what? An eighth of an inch? Change your section. So you say you don't need a 13
No, I'll use the VT3 so it's not a bunch of noticeable texture, it's just some movement throughout.
How do you know that 13
So the reason why I switched shears, when you have super fine hair, the VT1s or the 13Ts are wider tooth texturizers. So basically you're doing 13 point cuts in one stroke across the head. So whenever you see cosmetologists going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, you're just going one cut. It's all done. Everything they just did is already done. So the VT3s I'm going to use are a little bit finer, so it doesn't take out as much weight. It just adds a little bit of movement.
I think this is actually Stephanie's VT3.
Really?
Yeah, we've swapped out shears because ours needed sharpened or whatever.
So,
You should keep it like that. I like Johnny Bravo. I like that color.
so for this, if you look at the top of his head, you can still kind of see where the hair's been cut, those lines. So if I come back through, I can either come diagonally or I can come vertically. So if I come vertically, it's a lot less work. So I'll take a vertical section. Take that out. It's adding texture, but it's not super noticeable like the VT ones.
So when he's talking about the VT1, he's talking about something with a tube pattern like that. That's going to give you the most visible texture in one cut.
That's like a
And now you
thin
can't see
shear.
it.
That's like a thin shear.
Yeah, so it's a texturizer slash blending shear. And the reason why I style before I cut the sides, kind of put a little bit of product in there, is so the hair, if you think about it like this, when the hair is hot, it's just gonna fall. So I put a little bit of product in, cut the sides, let the hair cool down, the cuticle is gonna shrink back up, so it's gonna hold the style longer. It's so cold outside, my products like frozen,
It's not that
just from
cold.
the short ride over here.
It's not that cold.
Hmm.
Just let all that sit. I know it's not perfect. Alright, so we're gonna change the fade up a little bit. So here's what I think about in the barbershop. So the clients are gonna come what, every 2 to 4 weeks. So I gotta think about this. This is a sweet little fade. Not hating on it. It's dope. I'm thinking of the longevity of the client. My clientele is a little bit different. I cut a lot of businessmen. So I gotta think of whenever they're traveling, if it grows out and they don't get to come see me in 2 weeks, what's it gonna look like in 2 weeks? So I'm gonna stretch it out a little bit more. So the bald line is probably gonna be the same right there. We're just gonna stretch it out a little bit more. Kind of tailor it to the head shape. So this is, we may still drop it, we may bring it up a little bit higher, but we're gonna come off the occipital bone at a natural curve. And I'll show you guys all this. But we can all fade, let's be honest, we're barbers. What we pride ourselves on, right?
Sir. So you want to get a cut in? You want to get a cut in?
That's cool.
Or does somebody want to cut? Y'all are bums. Bums. Right, right. I bet y'all can't duplicate this cut when he's finished.
They're gonna try on you.
Yeah, so I have detachables.
Hey, I need one more.
I've had Supras and I've never had the BRGs. What they are. I've had people that use them, but I have the
Go get
mentors
'em.
too. I just use plastic
There's one
guards.
up front,
It's
it's
easier
a
to
ball
flick
head.
out.
Because I know our instructor does it like
Oh, really? This is a number 3, so I always take a 3 and clear the bulk off, so I can see the head shape, see where the fade needs to start, where the fade needs to end. As you see, I'm coming off the head at a natural angle, so that's where the weight line wants to be. On his head is right there. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side.
Quítese. Quiero que lo vean.
Then it's going to connect from side to side. These two sides, right here in the middle. You guys all know you cut against the grain when fading, right? Unless you're doing wavelength on top.
Sí, que era bonito. Frente en frente. No, no, allá, digo de él, güey. No de mí.
How much would you charge for a cut like this? I'm $60. No matter if it's 30 minutes or an hour. I block myself off for an hour, charge $1 a minute. So if I can get your haircut done in 30 minutes, I'll just
Esta
put
toma
2
foto.
in that hour spot.
But they still pay the 60.
Yeah, it's still good 60, yes, sir.
Man. So I'm gonna start charging right out the gate.
How long did it take you to build up to that price?
So, whenever I moved to Arkansas, I saw the need and the money, and no one was doing it yet. So if you're the first one, people are going to start talking to, like, why is he charging 60? Obviously, they're going to come ask. So about a year ago, that's why I went and did it. And it had nothing to do with the Instagram status and things like that. Nothing, didn't have to do with me traveling. It was just that I knew I provided a really good service that was lacking in the area that I was in. And so it just attracts people.
Okay.
Even if people are like, oh shit, he's charging $60 an hour, I'm never gonna, or $60 a haircut, I'm never gonna pay that. That's still promotion because they're gonna talk to somebody and someone's gonna hear about it. So me, when I fade, I descend, which means my longest guard first. I blend, so this is a 3. I'm gonna go 2 open. I'm gonna go right below that line, 2 closed right below that line, and then work it down. The reason why wall guards are built to go down, not necessarily up. And also, if I go down, I can retain that weight and that length from the top. A lot of times when I fade up, I start stretching it and stretching it and stretching it.
So whenever you do straight hair, would you prefer to use your magic clip?
Yeah,
Or do you just cut with straight magic clips?
No, I cut with seniors. I've got every wall clipper just because I work for them, and so I'll switch off about every haircut. I'll try something new.
So you don't be using no-handed?
I can't. If you got Sin clippers, you wouldn't be using any other clipper company either.
Oh yeah, true that. So I'm sponsored by it.
Just like I don't use any other shear. If
What
you
do you
would,
got on there right now?
I have a 2 open. So I'm gonna go 2 closed. They said you don't let them use plastic guards.
The other instructor,
Bathroom barbers, that's Dom.
the owner.
He wants to see you work.
Oh, you're working for it. You're using attachables. I mean, you can do it though. Detachable fades are clean if you can do it. So too close. Val, you got anything you want to say, man? About shears? About you? Who do you talk about the different metals and why I use? So I have two different shears. I have the high carbon shears, which are wet and dry. So I can. It's literally my workhorse. I can go from wet hair to dry hair, and I don't have to worry about anything. The talons I use first are only wet cutting. So as I use it in dry hair is really abrasive. It starts breaking down metal, making it a little bit more dull faster. So I don't know the science behind it. That's where this guy comes in. Every time I teach a class, I always like to let people know the difference of why these cost more than the other ones that are just shiny, because people don't understand why. You can only use the other ones. I'm not saying you only can, but they're made for wet hair. The metal in these are made for wet and dry. So I've had these for about 2.5 years and got them and had them sharpened one time, and they're still razor sharp.
So look at it this way. Nothing on the blade is happening right here. If I rotate this blade slightly, you're gonna see a little shiny area right there, okay? That area is actually angled back. So it's gonna be angled back this way. This top one's gonna be angled back the opposite way. Does that make sense?
Instead of 1.5.
So, the angle and the quality of the steel determines the angle. All right, so the greater the angle, the more soft your finish is going to be, but the greater the angle, the more taxing it is on the blade. So that's why your higher carbon steels will have a larger angle. So they'll be somewhere between 48 and 52 degrees. There's steel out there that you can get all the way to 60 degrees. I think the last time I was here, I was showing you guys a picture of a shear over comb with a Pi-May versus just a regular shear. Now Pi-May is a 60-degree angle. You could see it visibly. Did I show you guys, Luke, did I show you guys that when I was here last time?
I'm not sure if you. Yeah, you did.
If I didn't, I've got it on my phone. I can show it to you. But it just gives you a softer finish, and it allows you one less step in the actual haircut, because it didn't even really need it blended when they did shear over comb with that. So, but the thing to think about with these is, how many of you guys have flown on the airplane? Anybody have friends that work down at Spirit or Hawker Beechcraft or any place like that? Okay, I know this because I worked at Spirit. I've worked on the 737. I worked on a machine that takes a drill bit and puts it at 15,000 revolutions a second, hits a piece of aluminum, drives a rivet down into it with 1,000 pounds of pressure coming up underneath. It all happens like that. And we can put 1,500 rivets in a panel in less than 3 hours. That's how fast this machine works. The deal with that machine though is if I'm going to alter the height of that rivet when it hits the panel, I'm altering it 5/1000ths of an inch. That's all we're working with, because you're working with something that's aerodynamic, that's going to go up in the air and fly at 600 miles an hour, right? So that's at 5/1000ths of an inch. What you guys are working with right here is 1/4 of that. It's an 1/8 of a millimeter. Okay, so I can put my finger on this and it'll never cut me. If I go like that, it will cut me because it's brought to that angle.
Mm-hmm.
That's him, yeah. So that's why the type of steel that you're using becomes very important to what type of cutting you want to do moving forward. Okay, that makes sense? So yes, you guys get tool shears, but they're not going to be made of a high grade of steel. It's going to last you for a long period of time. So to actually keep them sharp and working for you, you're going to be looking like sharpening them every 3 months.
So I thought of it like this, because I was in the same boat you guys were. Like I worked for.
Make Rico do it.
Rico's father? You want to cut?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
hear
you got to.
You not set up yet?
I think none of it is.
Zeus is set up.
That's at that's at
Hella.
So I was gonna put one on, open to that 1.5 closed. That's right.
Rico just comes.
What kind of comb you use?
I use a YS Park comb.
Do you open and close and get in between?
I don't need
Do you-
to.
Do you for real? Why? You were saying something about.
So I open. Yeah, I open. Because when you think about when you think about a clipper, think of it like this. Because I never thought of it like this till a couple months ago. Well, I just can't remember what. It was right before I started hanging out with you. So when a clipper's open, I put in my initial guideline first when it's closed. When it's open, so everyone knows what this is, right? Blending shear?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
That.
Okay, when it's closed, what does it look like?
Regular blade.
Alright? So think of a clipper, think of it like that. I'm putting in my initial guideline first, closed. Then I'm going back through and texturizing it to soften that line. So if I go through,
Soften the bottom line.
yeah. So if you notice, I put my 3 on, but then when I went to the 2, it was just a little bit softer. So the 1.5 is a little bit softer. You could start seeing that transition. Because I'm going shorter, obviously, but then I'm softening it with it open. And so also wall makes it regards like this. So if I have it closed, it's a 000. Obviously it's not. It's a 4/0. It's 0 gapped. So it's, let's say it's bald. It's a half. Okay. Yeah, so it's a half. That's a half. Opens a 1. 1 guard closes a 1. 1 guard open is a 1.5. And it just keeps going like that. That's how they work. So when I fade down, I'm literally just fading into itself.
Man, I feel like I want to use detachables eventually. Like, or not detachables, but guards. That's what I meant.
Nah, yeah, I mean,
Bro, that's changing so much, bro. Like,
How do you like maintain your guidelines though when you're going down?
with my, how I maintain my what?
Like your guidelines as you're going down.
well, you could tell if you're making another line.
Yeah. So you can't. It's almost impossible to make another line unless you're going higher than your previous guideline. That's the only time you're gonna make another line. Because when you tilt their head, like this, I'm coming off the head. It's natural bone structure. Like this is just the natural motion of my wrist. So when I'm fading, I'm literally just resting the clipper on his head. He has no red marks on his head. Because I'm just resting it. I'm not digging it in. I'm not cornering, anything like that. It's just.
Well, I was telling y'all about tapering.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you gotta treat it. So I always used to leave red marks. I'm super heavy-handed. I'd outline people.
Talk to him about it.
Yeah, I'd outline people, man, and I'd leave red marks on the back of their neck, down here, around the ear. And I was told by Patty Cuts at a convention that I was cutting with. He goes, try cutting the hair without touching the skin, and that just kind of changed it all. Think about it, like because you can cut the hair without touching the skin. So I have my 1 guard open.
Yeah, I use the end of slim line when I tear people up sometimes.
On your 0 gaps.
Yeah.
That's why.
Do you not recommend 0 gapping?
Well, if you're gonna 0 gap them, you gotta test them on your wrist first,
Yeah.
or your eyelid.
I had a
I
girl.
test them on my neck, and I tear my neck up all the time, so I just adjust
You
according to that.
Your neck's always all torn up.
I'm telling you, you could. She did that. That's one of the reviews that we.
That's you,
Bro.
bro.
That's you.
That's you, bro. So we gotta fix that. You gotta fix your edges, bro. I done told you that about 3 times.
You know what?
You gotta get a mic, bro. You can't be shredding people like that.
But you zero gap your stuff? Or no?
Yeah, I 0 gap all my stuff, so I have a tool that's made for it that holds it all.
What you get? Oh, you got the wall stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Don said slow days are clean days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Cleaning
what we
days.
gotta clean today.
I do it on busy days too. So.
So, do you just heavy-handed with trimmers?
I think so. I think I'm
Everything. I remember he used to come me up with the BGRCs, bro. And he is, bro.
Oh, I love barbershop talk.
Nah, you gotta give it a
I
hundred.
can take the criticism.
Shredded this up.
They said they never want to go there.
Oh, I love it. I used to get those too, bro, all the time. And just be, and then you're gonna get light-handed. Like, look at me now.
Oh God.
So I used to not be able to line people out. So believe it or not, like when I first started, I worked downtown Springfield, Missouri, which we had an urban barber shop. And like I'd have all these guys come in there, like, man, you white boy, you can't cut. It's like, oh, okay. So I let people were lined out, going crooked. And finally some dude's like, just lay him back. So I just lay him back now, line him out. So I know what you're going through. I didn't cut nobody like that, but. Oh, line him out. Did you see it?
No,
It's a good one.
I didn't see it though. Let me see it.
Hey, you know what though?
The cool thing about being a barber
This is where you learn, man.
is you gotta have
That's all
tough
this
skin.
is. This is learning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Bro, I've been working in the bar industry for quite a while, so like as a door guy and bouncer, so like, man, at first it was rough, but you got to get some thick
I used to go
skin
get my
after a
teeth
while.
done when I lived in Kansas City at the dental school up there. Well, I would hope that she'd know how to take care of my teeth. I knew the girl, right? But I hope she knew how to take care of my teeth. But really, could I say anything if, I mean, they had instructors come check on it, you know, but, you know, if it wasn't a perfect filling, I was paying a third of the price, you know? So it's the same mentality. It is what it is.
I love reviews. So that's why I opened my own shop too, because I used to.
Facebook,
He
bro.
said, don't ask no more white people. That's what he said. Don't ask no more white people.
Let me see that.
Come let you on. Come on.
It's bad. They put a review too, bro.
On Facebook, bro.
Oh man, bro, why are they doing that to that little kid?
Nah, he ran into a table.
Oh,
That's
He
too
ran
straight to
into
be
a-
your lineup,
He
bro.
ran into a Corey.
straight.
Ran into the corner of a Corey.
How did she not see when he left?
I don't know.
There's blood in his eyes and stuff. I'm fine.
And then I'm mad. Oh, hey, I'm mad at the fact that you lined him up way down. It's not even on his hairline, bro. You just across his forehead.
I think that's.
Look, his hairline way back here.
I think that's.
Oh, that was Corey that did that one? Oh
Did a
man.
crap fade on me. Hey, that's horrible.
How
Bro.
long was that?
I don't know.
She posted it like 21 minutes ago.
So that had to be your Saturday cut. That's the remnants of a Saturday, a bad Saturday.
I know I didn't have no kids.
Hey, we gotta tighten up, bro. We can't be sending those out. Fix
That's
your
it,
edges,
that's
bro.
college.
That's what it is. Fix your edges.
Are you good, Quick?
Yeah, those things are close.
Well, you wanna see mine? Mine's is super close.
Yeah, yours will do it too. If Corey used your entry
No, never that. We gonna murder him.
yeah, you gotta have baby soft hands to use daddy hands. You use them, boy, you go, boy.
This is why the barbershop's so good.
And we got a customer sitting up here waiting. Everybody can't watch this demo. Somebody gotta get it.
Rico's getting him.
Rico, what you waiting on, bro?
Took 20 minutes to set up.
Greet him with a smile, bring him back. It's easy work.
Look.
Oh, you would use the gold FXs.
Yeah.
Oh,
They hitting though, bro.
I'll take them little balders.
Man, right? I want to get some
Pocket
of those.
balders.
Do they not get stuck?
How much do those cost?
Those are awesome,
They
bro.
don't get stuck
You
at
don't
all?
see it got a smooth ball right here.
How much is those on me?
They're from the UK, so they're not over here yet. Word on the street is they're coming over here.
How'd you get them?
Because he's sponsored by Wall.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, they're
How do you
about,
do that?
they're about
Yeah, how do you get sponsored?
Yeah.
Like, show us the blueprint, dude.
There's no blueprint, man. I spend a lot of money on traveling and meeting people. That's what you got to do in this industry. It's all networking.
You do a lot of shows?
Yeah, so I went to a show and met. How I got on Popular Nobody was went to a show, went to Connecticut, hung out with Trevor Moots. Trevor Moots introduced me to John. John introduced me to Pete Thomas, which is what was he the head of education back then?
Pete's our head of in-salon education for Honzo.
Yeah. So I met Pete. Got to talking to Pete. I was like, I want to educate for you guys. He goes, do you use Honzos? No. Well, you can't educate for us. So then I had to buy a 4-shear set, which in reality is a really good investment because I use it every single day.
Honzo's can I educate you guys? I want to go traveling too.
And I just met all the Wall guys. So I stayed active on Instagram, messaged Wall Pro. The guy who runs Wall Pro, super cool dude. Always message you back.
So you could order like the cordless detailers and
Nah, all that stuff's free. I don't use any of that stuff I ordered because that was like 2 years ago. Yeah,
The only thing he has that he's paid for
it's the Honzos.
See, guys who educate for Honzo buy their own tools.
Yeah, like I don't get it. I don't get shears for free. I pay the exact same price you guys do, except I don't get a class discount whenever I teach. That's the only difference.
Feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
Mm.
Feel sorry for
Poor
him.
fella.
For you.
Rough life he lives.
So just how active you want to be, man. You want to grind out on social media and travel and spend money on education, things like that, and get noticed. If you do, then that's all you got to do. Start networking now. Start commenting on barbers that whatever company you want to work for is Instagrams. That's how you get on. Yeah.
Man, it's all too.
Was it Wandis or Andis? I'm just making sure we're on the same boat. So I'm going with my half guard closed.
You go half on the ball and fade it out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it'll be a little line. And I'll just go back, take the half guard off, open it halfway, and it'll be gone.
You got those zero gas?
You teach me something new today about like not having to like just open and close. Though that's gonna
Hey, that's how Zeus fades.
just open and close. Huh?
No, I'm talking about like I done seen him take his one and just put the butt of the one up there and then fade all the way up there like he's doing. Instead of going like one and then stop right there, he'll bring the one up here. And clean all that freehand. That's how he fades. You ain't never paid attention to that? Yeah. That's how he just like, and that'll get all those like in between. See that? Zeus does that. I see him do it a lot. I'll be like, man, you freehanding the whole thing?
Basically.
Basically.
Basically what you're doing is you're coming off at a 90, so any other hairs that stick out.
You're making fake Andy's account.
He makes his own hands account and then like.
No, just messing with
He got 5,000 likes from himself. Keep switching profiles.
you. make those 5,000, follow me too. What? You make those 5,000 accounts, follow me too.
No, that's somebody was really cool.
We actually have an educator, but when she first started, she created a fake trip. She made a trip and made it look like she was going like all over the United States and Canada to educate. And she had a photographer go with her. And basically all she did was go to like different towns. Like she went from like LA to Toronto, cut hair in one barbershop, made it look like she was doing an education class. And she did that for like 2 weeks, like 9 different cities. And then she started putting it out there that she travels for education. And that's how she got hooked up.
Who is
with
this?
different companies.
Really?
You have no idea? Take a wild guess who would do something like that. It was Pope the Barber.
Oh.
That's how she got started.
Vatican?
Yep, Pope the Barber. That's how she got started. She
I've
put
seen
out
her,
there.
I've seen her.
She came out here.
Yeah. Yep, that's how she got started. I mean, it's not something that she brags about, but I mean, that's how she had to create a social media
And if it worked, you know, you gotta-
So,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
right?
yep.
It's all in the hustle, baby.
Yeah.
Should I do that?
Instagram's the only tool. Instagram and YouTube.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
You do tutorials on YouTube?
No, I'll do some tutorials on like my stories. But it takes away from the like me being able to come and teach you guys. If I'm putting it out there for everyone to see, like there's no reason for me to come out. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, for
Then there's
sure.
no demand.
Yeah, if you're giving away all your secrets on YouTube, then
You don't see Chris Bosio going to salons or barber shops or anything like that. He's just getting a check from YouTube now. I'd rather go network.
He doing free cuts. You see that on here? There was
Like all those crazy haircuts you see on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I did.
So I used to do those because I thought people were paying for them. All those crazy cool cuts you see on Instagram, man, those are all free. Those are all just model cuts.
yeah, dude just does it to put it up.
Bossy up got his new studio. He just trying to do free cuts from models. He just trying to cut. Yeah, he said he posted. He said he wanted a free cut. He said all you gotta do is schedule this.
Leave it like that. Looks cool.
So I'm gonna go back through and find this side. Bro, you got
Do
it.
you leave that lip on there?
Yeah, I'll take it off at the end.
I got a what? A ridge on the side of my head.
You got a different bone structure on this side, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know you do.
You should have had a real hard.
Body.
Yeah, I have a
You got that
real,
you got that
real.
wharf.
Dude, my
That
head
wharf
is
crank
so
on it.
misshapen. Like when I joined the military, they, you know, when they shave your head at the beginning, bro, my head
It
was
was all
so
bad.
jacked up. It looks like I got ran over by a 4-wheeler run.
Like a titty in a basketball.
Yeah. Like my mom dropped me down a well. Just,
She wanted you to get hydrated.
yeah.
Like the hills have eyes.
Yeah. I was
You
able
wouldn't happen to
climb
be
up
from
the side,
Kentucky, would
foot
you?
over shoulder.
Stay
Are
out
we good on
them,
time, Val?
stay out them hollers.
So I'm just doing the same thing on the back. So I do side, side, and then connected in the back. Just doing the exact same thing, just working it all out.
So you do side, side, and then go to the back and connect them.
Yeah, so I'll do my 3 this side, 3 this side, and 3 on the back. 2, 2, 2, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1, 1, 1. Bald, meet in the back.
Okay. Sweet, yeah, that makes sense.
Use your mirror's reference point. That way you're not. Someone's bald line's up here, and then on the other side it's down here.
Right.
Be light-handed so you don't leave scars on some kid's forehead. Haven't even got off the nip yet.
Looks like you got in a freaking sword fight.
Bro, I'm dogging on you, bro, but that's
I'm playing
legit.
it cool,
Like,
yeah.
that's gonna be a story you're gonna tell your clients in your chair like 10 to 15 years from now. Be like, bro, I was in bar school, I fucked this dude up.
But Corey,
And he's probably gonna come back and sit in your chair and be like, hey, remember that one time you cut my forehead and shit?
remember when you gave me this huge scar on my head? I'm kidding, bro. No, Corey can cut though, man. He's cold. He can.
But you know what I mean? Like, I still have some people that mess up and they come back like, bro, you remember that one time like you
Dude,
screwed me up?
when I first started here, I cut some kid up that I guarantee to this day he probably hasn't got another haircut. He was almost in tears when he walked. Yeah, dude, I ruined his life. Like he got made fun of real bad. Poor little fella.
So what'd you do to him?
Man, I just like, so somebody put his hard part way too high. So it was like coming up over here. But I didn't cut it to match that. So there was just this big hard part just coming out of the middle of his hairline, and I didn't know how to shape it up or anything to make that work. And so he would have been able to go to another barber shop and get it fixed up, but man, he was not happy.
He wasn't loving you that day?
Probably still hates me.
Every time he sees you.
Every time I get somebody like, even with the voodoo doll.
Face of anger.
How you doing, Rico?
I don't know. It is Rico.
So you've been doing this professionally for legit like 3 years? You said?
3 years, man.
Man,
I heard he took his
3 years October.
that's crazy. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's
You
great.
think going to cosmetology school kind of benefited you with some of the longer hair that comes in the barbershop?
I didn't pay attention in cosmetology school, so I don't think it benefited me at all. The only thing I learned how to do is palm to palm, and I don't even use that. Like the shape of the face I learned, like how do I, if he has a triangular or a square face, how do I make it look oval? That helped. But all my sexting and stuff came out when I was in the shop and YouTube and talking to people that have been doing it for a long time. Like this guy and the guy who owns the school, like they're barbers in the industry. Like they're not just your teachers. You work in the shop, right? Like that's your guy to go to, like whatever you want to know. And I didn't respect my teachers in school because I thought, you know, I'm doing it too. Like they don't know anything. But he's got real life experience, and that's what you want to look up to, is these guys who actually work in the shop. So none of my instructors did. They all was taught at school. They didn't work in the shop. They got out of school, went right back out their instructor's license, worked in school. So, but yeah, like him, YouTube, that's really where you're gonna learn your shear cutting techniques. Hanzo classes, where you can do some longer shear cutting, things like that. But yeah. Did I answer your question? Yeah. Cosmo School really didn't do much for me. Just an extra, way more expensive route. I didn't need to spend. So, to get rid of that ledge, I'm gonna scissor over ledge. I'm gonna scissor over comb. How far are your 7?
So you wouldn't recommend
Seven?
going to
About
Cosmo?
7.5.
You wouldn't recommend going to Cosmo school?
I would take Cosmo training. I wouldn't go to Cosmo School.
What's training?
You call Val and be like, Val, I want to take a beginner's cosmetology long hair cutting course. And then he brings somebody in, and they just sit down with you, and they break it down like it's math equation.
Is it just for like a day?
Yeah, I mean, for just like this, well, it can get in depth. It can be in depth as possible. It could be how you section the hair, what shears they use to do what, different lengths. I mean, this is your main guy for education. So I'm just coming up, I'm over directing the hair just a little bit when I elevate to kind of soften that ridge. So this is where I start, right? My scissors can't cut any of that. So as I come up 90 degrees, the longer hair is gonna fall through and become softer. So it doesn't look perfect right now, but we're gonna come back through and refine it.
That's fine.
Laura's like, I ain't doing nothing. I'm gonna watch this. Laura's like, I'm gonna go get some money.
You take the ridge.
So I'm gonna leave it like that for right now because I still want that strong structure. Then I'm gonna come back with the 40 Ts and just hit that real quick. It'll just soften it. So I come in, all of this hair's not gonna get cut. When I come out, you start seeing the long hair poke out. Scoop.
You test it with your thumb?
Yeah, so it just makes it fall right through.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
And that's why I use the 7 or the 7.5 inch shears, because it's the whole panel. 1 panel, 2 panel, 3 panel, 4 panel, 5 panel. And I can come down on a scissor cut. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So I just did it with my thinner shears.
Yeah.
Done with that.
You are very technical though.
Is there an advantage to not hitting it with the thinning shears first?
So I just want to create that strong square shape, and sometimes with blending or thinning shears,
They cut into it.
they cut into it a little bit. And so what I'm going to do, I created the shape first, then I come through and do 1 click with my thinning shears.
Cheater.
And then and I still have the shape, but it's a lot softer.
Right.
Yeah, because I've also seen techniques from other barbers where they'll take like a wide tooth
Yeah.
and they'll hit that first with the wide tooth at a certain section on the air shaft, and then come back with the 40 tooth and hit it one time with the 40, and it kind of sucks it right to the head.
Yep. I just, man, those like BT ones and stuff, they just scare me. I use them, but only on the top of the head.
I've seen it done with the VT1 where they'll come in, they'll hit that line originally with the VT1 to take a little bit of weight, and then they hit it with the 42 and it just blends it right to the side of the head. So see, I don't cut hair, but I bet I can figure my way through a haircut.
Yeah.
Corey, you got a request.
Woo!
You got a request, pal.
So now,
You gotta show out for all that.
these are the 42 blenders.
Second that one dude with the dress.
Still dogging.
You ain't gonna live that down for a couple
Ever.
of weeks.
Corey gonna hate all y'all. Joke's on y'all because he already came before.
Probably not gonna come back after this cut.
Show the picture.
Out of the chair.
You want this kid? You want the surgeon?
Corey the surgeon.
Corey thinks we're still surgeons.
I think
Slide cut with those?
yeah, I think I switched mine out for Isaac's.
Feels different?
Yeah.
An hour and 30 minutes?
Do what?
Oh, okay.
Oh. You guys come in. You can just slide them out. So the way these are made is they're
one,
rounded.
two.
So even with the VT ones, so you don't have to like open, close, or close it, open it, and then pull all the hair out. You just slide the hair out and it just falls out. You have these though, don't you? Yeah.
Slide. You can slide cut with them.
Yeah, so then you just come in here.
Those are my cheaters.
The wider the tooth of the comb, the more natural the hair is going to fall. So you can kind of see if I pull it up here, it's not very natural, right? If I pull it with a wide tooth, it's more natural. You can slide right through. So I just come in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or, like he was saying, you can use the VT3s or these. I can come in like this, pull the hair out, 13-point cuts.
Give you like an instant fade texture.
So you still have that. So if you want to use this here, so it kind of textured it out. You have hairs here, then hairs here, and then hairs here. Come over here.
Hey, when you guys are doing all of that extra detail work, what are you adding?
Texture.
Well, you're adding value.
Yeah.
That's not a $15 haircut.
So come in
That's
here.
not a $20 haircut.
60, baby.
Yeah, you're adding, I've got educators that I work with, anytime they pick up an extra shear, the cost of the haircut goes up.
So Mexican.
So now, if you think about it like this. So if this hair's here right now, where's it gonna be in 2 weeks?
Well, wait, this here right here
Yeah.
will kind of be coming down.
So this is your hairline, right? This is where your ridge is.
Uh-huh.
The texture lives about a 1/4 inch
Okay,
above
so
that.
yeah, it'll just roll around down the side of my head, right?
Yeah. So everything where that weight line is right now, that's where it's gonna be in 2 weeks where it comes back to me. So it's not gonna go past. It's not gonna hang down. It's gonna be right there.
What I meant was just gonna follow my. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
¿Cómo se llama ese corte?
El
look.
How much was that? Blow dryer. They're like $350. Nice though. Thank you.
You won't get one though.
So I'm just gonna blend the beard. I'm gonna go one open.
We can use it.
So I do the exact same thing on the beard as I do the sides. One open, one close. Then go half open. Go halfway open. Tilt the head. Tilt the head.
Big off.
You must have heard there was a class going on. Yeah, I figured he'd sneak in.
Go with the grain.
How you been, man? How are you? I'm alright.
Got one guard on.
Are those your legends right there?
No, these are my wall.
Oh.
You have a guard on it?
I had my one on. After.
Well, you showed up at the right time.
Is that the boss man?
Yeah, he's an instructor too, but he works at Townies.
Where is Don?
So
He works at that expensive.
So I'll do it here so you guys can see it. So one close, one open, one close. No guard open. No guard close. And then that little line right there. Halfway open. Take that. So now I'm gonna take it still halfway open. Come down and just scoop out. Which gives it a real natural blend. So I'm gonna close my one. Open.
What guards do you got?
So this is just the old school one guard. It's the exact same. It's just easier to flick out because that right there.
I got those in the shop for my clip.
Yeah. Oh, there. Where's he at? Does he want to line you up?
Hey, Corey, you want to come along, Luca?
That's 1 week. 1 week of torture.
You gonna use those Honzos?
I can, yeah. So he didn't have the modified blade on it, so it's not gonna hit as hard. But these are a lot lightweight.
More control over.
Yeah. But the modified blade that they have on those are a titanium blade,
Quiero comprar unas chinas.
and they're filed down on the back,
For like $20.
and so they're super
You have these
thin.
you got?
Those aren't the
Yeah.
modified ones.
These are those.
But I used the modified ones
Jesus Flores official.
yesterday.
Official.
Yeah, and they cut. I mean, there's no transition from if I have my clipper closed. So I hit it with that modified blade on that trimmer, ball line, foil into a clipper closed, and that's all the work you have to do.
Yeah.
It's insane. I don't have to go down with my foil. I don't have to swirl with my foil. Nothing. They hit probably just as hard as your FXs.
Oh, so you seen these, bro?
Me das unos para llevar.
So you know the Babyliss ones are double A's, right?
Yeah.
Those double A's. Those are lithium ion. So they're about 90 minutes to charge on that little thing. Yeah, John Mosley took my other one last night. I had 2.
You took one?
Yeah.
I would have took one.
Yeah, in the middle of class, he goes, "Yeah, you brought one of those for me, didn't you?"
Oh, so he sold you out. You had to give it to him.
Yeah.
That's nice. I would have took it to him.
So see, he was doing a class last night, and he didn't know John was going to show up. But John lives down in the Dallas area. So John and his wife just showed up at the class last night, and his face like turned more red than his beard.
Bro, I broke out in hives. I was so nervous, like all around my neck, cause I'm redheaded. So when I get nervous, I just flare up.
So
like
John's wife's up there like taking pictures of him for Instagram with his old cherry head going on.
Necko blondie.
Oh, I was blotchy as hell, dude. Do you have the picture?
I've got it somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it for you guys. But I went to Jessica's wife. I called his wife Stephanie too.
Good job. Excellent.
Yeah.
Who is that? His mistress?
No. So the girl on the team's name is Stephanie, and so I called his wife last night. Stephanie, I was like, "Hey, how are you, Stephanie?" And John died laughing. I was like, "He just called you Stephanie," and she just like her face got like she was pissed.
So
And
Stephanie's about my size. Stephanie's a big old girl.
Yeah.
Stephanie beat this crap out.
And his wife's beautiful.
Yeah.
Jessica is absolutely drop dead beautiful. And so it's kind of like an insult from the beginning. And then like anything I'd say, I could hear him just talking shit to his wife the whole time. And so it just like.
So see, basically Lucas is probably like, I'd say you and.
Trevor and I are the only white guys. Like we're the only white boys
Well, yeah,
in this
but you're the
group.
rookie.
Oh yeah, brand new.
Well, and isn't Arif kind of a rookie as well?
I'm not sure.
But I mean, yeah. So he's like bottom guy on the totem pole. So John just picks on him. That's all it is. He's
Yeah.
having fun with him. Like literally, John's already called me this morning. So I sent John a message and said I'm in a class.
Yeah, what do you usually charge for a cut?
$60.
60?
Mm-hmm. So my shop, he was saying, is a lot like your E shop. So I charge 60. Everyone else starts at 30. Prices go up. I got a girl that's gonna book 45 for 45. So she's been doing it for 9 years. Like, stop grinding. Here's how I think about it. If I'm charging $30 and I'm booked out every single day for 30 minutes, let's say I double my price, so I owe $60. You get an extra hour or extra 30 minutes. I may lose 25% of my clientele that doesn't want to pay that $60, but in the end, I'm gaining 60% more money.
Right.
And you could take your time and you could.
Yeah. So that's why. So from 9 to 5 is $60 a haircut. If you need 7 in the morning to 9 in the morning, it's double. 6.
120?
Yeah. 6 at night to 8 at night is double. If I go to your house, it's triple.
Okay,
That's
but
how prices
understand how he's doing that and who he's doing it with.
Right.
I mean, he cuts half the Walton family. He cuts the CEO of Procter and Gamble.
All of them, like
Like
You
Walmart.
cut half the Walton
Like
family?
Walmart.
Stu and Tom Walton is my clients. Yeah.
that's
Really?
So
Poor
everybody.
starving fellas.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But also, it's also people whose time is more valuable to them than anything else.
Right.
So they might need to get in at 7 o'clock because they got an 8:30 business meeting with somebody from China.
The Rock trying to sell us tequila. When
Right.
he was right next to my shop. Like all the movie stars that have their own line stuff come there. Like all the people that are in commercials for Walmart, or people that sell to Walmart are there. So it's just like it's always money coming through. And so, like I said, some people talk shit. $120 a haircut. Those people are gonna hear it. And they're like, I'm gonna go to that guy. He's doing something right.
Right.
You know what I mean? And no one was doing it.
Needs one person to come in and do that, and you just do it for 2 hours.
My goal, so my wife's a cosmetologist. I like the money that cosmetologists can make and only have to deal with 3 clients. So my goal when I started this shop was I'm gonna make more than my wife and do half the work she does. To prove that barbers can do it. Because you hear a lot of barbers that grind their ass off for 20 years making $15 a cut. No thanks, man.
My grandpa.
That's what my brother is.
Yeah, no, my grandpa's been doing it.
He's
10,
kinda that
15?
dude.
Yeah, I mean, how many cuts you do a day?
He's kind of that dude.
15, 20?
20 something, yeah.
15-minute haircuts?
No, probably about anywhere from 15 to 30, yeah.
My
15 to
grandpa.
30, okay. So like the 1 or the 2 on the side, the finger length on top, gonna be your 15-minute haircuts.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, your skin's gonna be your 30,
yeah,
things like that, tapers.
yeah.
How much you charge?
We charge 25 at the regular shop. I mean, regular shop price is 25, but usually most of my clients pay me 40.
Yeah. So you know all about it. So if
Yeah.
you raise your price $10 more, you may lose 10% of them. They're like, or maybe
Yeah.
not even any.
Yeah.
It's 10. What's $10 nowadays?
Right.
Yeah.
Like you can't. I mean, a shot at the bar.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
It's that, and that's what sold me like on Hanzo Shears too, because they're like, well, you go out and drink. Well, let's be real honest. Like, you smoke weed? Well, yeah, I used to smoke weed then. How much you smoke? This much. Don't smoke one blunt that week. You can have Shears.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like if you break it down like that.
I wish I could do that though. Gotta have a blunt after school, bro. I don't care.
You know we started random UAs this week, right?
It's for the
Yes, we got first candidate.
it's for the government. But yeah, so like cause like back then, like I didn't care. You know, I was a barber. I was just grinding, trying to chill out after work, and I was like, I can make more money by investing in this. Smoke one less blunt a week. I'm good.
How many cuts do you try to do a day?
I do like 8 to 9.
8 to
My
9.
grandpa's a barber. He's been doing it about 54 years now. And he tries to do about 40, 45 a day.
That's like
Like you're getting,
So with tip or without tip?
it just depends.
whatever.
Because I mean, he gets $13 a haircut where I'm
Yes.
from.
Yeah. So my
it's a
slow
lot different.
my slow days like tomorrow. I'll go in and I think I'm doing 10 just because or 9 just 'cause I'm traveling. 16. If I book out my full day, it's 11 haircuts. Like if I'm doing an hour long haircuts. Sometimes I'll break it out. So yeah, even doing 60, $70 a day.
Here you go.
Man.
So you work so much less than
man,
like he's got
I
to
need
get
to
like,
get in
because
there.
like,
As long-
like last Saturday he had a 7 hour per day.
Have you been recording this the whole time? Bro, you can stop now.
Is it the
Is that
shear
good?
work? Is it the shear work that really